a lot of times we think, we get to go through that mindset. Well, I'm too small. I don't have the equipment to do aeration, or I don't have the equipment to do seeding, or I don't have the equipment to do fall leaf cleanups and whatnot. You're not too small to offer those services. Because you've already got the customer base that potentially could utilize those services. So when we look at things that we can do to increase profit margins and how we can make additional cash flow and profit dollars, too many times we pass up on the what a lot of people refer to as the low hanging fruit that's out there. So the reality of it is you don't have to be a huge company to do it. You can be small. You can be easily a solo operator and add aeration and seeding into your service offering this fall. September rolls around, late August, early September. It's different for everybody's market by a little bit, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But don't get the mindset that, well, you're too small. I can't offer those services. I don't have the equipment. Well, you don't necessarily have to purchase the equipment. You can rent the equipment. That's something that you can look into now. Hey, maybe I'm going to set up a couple weeks of aeration and overseeding, and go ahead and secure that equipment, get that equipment, set up to rent, but what the reality of it is, though, too many times we don't think we can do it, so therefore we're trying to think of something else to do when that's right there in front of us. Doesn't cost you a ton of money to get it done, but it's a very profitable service. And now's the time to start soliciting your customers for those services. And if you're getting into killouts, obviously you need to be licensed for that service within your state, But if you're going to do the killouts, be careful when you start doing those. One thing that the learning curve for me on those was trying to be too overreaching with how great we were going to be, because I'm going to touch base on this because people, well, I want to kill out my yard and reseed it, and a lot of times the answer just simply becomes, well, okay, we can do it, or no, we can't do it. So let's look at the okay, we can do it side for a minute. And that's based on the assumption that, you are licensed to apply the herbicides, because I want you guys to know that, in most states, you do have to be licensed. I mean, that's just it. A lot of guys think, well, I'm just spraying Roundup, or I'm just this, I'm putting fertilizer down. That does require licensing. So check with your state agriculture department or whoever it is within your state that you need to get your licensing. But the time and effort that you put into it, even if you say, well, Wayne, I have no intentions of treating lawns on a regular basis, you don't have to. Okay. But carrying that pump can around, spraying cracks and curbs and driveways and whatever, or flower beds, or putting some pre-emergent beds, or whatever it is, you need to be licensed to do that in most areas. So be sure to check on that. So I say that to say this, okay? Once you've got that taken care of, be careful if you're going to do some kill outs on lawns by telling people that, hey, you're going to spray it and everything's going to be dead and you're going to come back and reseed it. Because one of the biggest problems that I ran into a lot in our market was, like zoysia and Bermuda grass, for an example. We're in a transition zone where we can do some of both, but the reality of it is, we have a hard time taking that out and eradicating that. We can spray it, it can look dead, and it may be gone for a year or two, but that's one of those things that you need to let your customers know, that just because it looks dead, it may come back. And that's something that if you don't tell your customer that, then they're coming back at you mad. So be sure to educate yourself a little bit on what you can and can't do, what you can and can't control. But what it does allow you to do, when you get into those harder to control weeds and or different types of grasses that maybe you're trying to control, is, a lot of those labels will say suppression too. And again, Eric Jones is the man when it comes to the help on this, but just be sure that you're not over-promising and underachieving with your customers. Let them know that by, starting over with a lawn, it's going to give you a good opportunity to better manage that lawn moving forward with them. And when people say, well, do you guarantee establishment, or do you guarantee germination, or do you guarantee your seeding? You got to be careful on what you say about that, and how many times are you willing to maybe go back. I know a lot of the commercial contractors now that I know, there's not a guarantee with that, because there's too many uncontrollable factors that we get into. Like we tell customers, our guarantee is simple. We use great equipment, we use certified grass seed, and we've got people doing the work that have got plenty of experience on doing the jobs. And, in 43 years of doing lawns, we know the right equipment, we know the right seed, we know the right rates, we know how to do it. And it's being completed by properly trained people. But what we can't guarantee is the establishment of that lawn necessarily, because, there's too many things we don't have control over. And I know we're kind of going down two different paths with this conversation today, but the reality of it is, the methodology can be right from your end as the contractor on how you're doing it and why you're doing it. But if your customer doesn't follow through with the right watering frequency and the mowing habit, the mowing height, the fertilization rates, all the little things. And that's what I tell people all the time and talking to them. We can give you the care, and we do give them care and maintenance directions after we've renovated a lawn. But they need to follow them. And if they follow them, they'll be successful. But if they don't, they won't. Just that simple. It won't be successful if you don't commit to putting the proper water to it. If you don't commit to following those care directions that tell you when to mow it, how high to mow it. Don't let it get too excessively long. And that's where a lot of people make their mistake when they go to the time and effort of renovating the lawn. They let it go too long before that first mowing gets into place. So it does get into some training and education for yourself when you get into renovating lawns. But if you take the time to train and educate yourself, what you're going to find out is there's some really, really excellent profit dollars available through the aeration and the seeding process. That's just that simple. Don't let your competitor take those profit dollars from you.